You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It's Thursday, July 27th, and I think we know why this day is so important. Mitch Wishnowsky passed his physical today. Let's go, baby. Let's go. But no, in all seriousness, we got to believe in Mitch.
That's Money Mitch, man.
That's Money Mitch. It's not Kittle, John. It's not Kittle. Although that video did get me too. Like, I liked it, and I was like, oh, yeah, good. Like, Kittle's out there. I didn't even bat an eye.
Everybody that was sitting there was like, oh, that's Kittle. And I was like, that is Kittle, right? And I get the camera out, and I zoom in. I was like, that's Kittle. The mullet's hanging out there, man.
I thought the same thing. And I know after, like, Kittle commented, everyone was like, I can't believe anyone would think that's Kittle. And it got me. People say that.
They have the same physique. Like they look exactly the same. The hair was perfect, and they were doing one of the same drills. I promise you, I seen Kittle do that high kick leg drill.
My favorite thing is anything I have posted since, and I've posted way too much. The first or second response is, "Are you sure?
Are you sure? Pretty sure."
Which I love. I love.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, this is a huge day because we got to see Brock Purdy helmet on, throwing passes again. And so not only am I excited for that, but I'm also pumped to be discussing it with none other than John Chapman and Wayne Breezy. How are we doing today, fellas?
It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. I'm doing great. Brock is back.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is a little too premature, but after watching him today, he looks good. He looks really good. So I'm happy that Brock is back.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, people have to realize this is the first time he has thrown a pass to any of his teammates. It's not like this dude's been out there, like, going through all the, workouts and stuff like Trey Lance has and Sam Darnold has. And what? No. Like, they asked Debo, like, hey, have you played catch at all with Brock yet? He's like, no, haven't at all.
Well, they didn't ask him, John. They kind of said that he did, and then he corrected them.
Right.
He said, I didn't catch passes. He wasn't there. So,
but I cannot believe he is back practicing. This is a wonderful day for anybody that's a 49ers fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about that really quickly. Just want to shout out the people who have shout out Phil. He didn't even have anything to say, but dropped $2 in the chat. Appreciate you. And
Phil's the best, man.
We got Ismail here. Finally got a chance to catch one of these live again. 3 of my favorite 49ers content creators at that. Thank y'all for what you do. Appreciate it.
With our powers combined.
Yeah, right? Or it's like we're building the Avengers here, I feel like. We got something going. But going back to Brock, like, it seemed that he was a little rusty, okay? I think that was kind of expected. I mean, to the point of him not really getting that time to build that chemistry. Sure, he had that time last season, but it's different when you go full off season, not getting to throw to your guys, right? Or even in OTAs and minicamp and all that. So 11 on 11s, he was 3 of 10. At least that's what has been widely reported. One of those was due to a drop. He also had an interception. Some reported there were a number of sacks as well. John, you were there at camp today to see Brock live in action. What were your takeaways in just how he looked?
Well, the defense dominated everybody. So, like, you can go through each and every quarterback, and you're not going to be – it was a defensive day. They were barking. They were doing everything. The interception was a really bad read. Where I was sitting watching it, it was Jimmy G PTSD just struck again.
Oh, no.
But it's his first day back. Like, I really did not put any stock into – what his stats or whatever were. It's literally his first day practicing with his teammates. And like, I came away very positive. My number one concern with Brock was zip. Like, okay, is he just going to be, soft? No. The dude was slinging. And that's way more important than any type of, percentage, completion, whatever else. Don't give a damn. Defense is always up early. And I walked away very, very positive on Brock today for sure.
And you said that was your main concern was zip, and both me and Wayne like just pointed like the Spider-Man meme. We were like, yes, like that is exactly what we were concerned with. And I mean, Wayne, you probably saw the same video clips that I did. I mean, what'd you think about
the zip was there?
Zip was there.
The zip was there. I mean, coming off of that injury, you're worrying about velocity. Is he still going to be able to get the ball in there? I don't know if he worked on any touch passes. That's another day. But as long as that zip is there, and the accuracy will come again, right? The more he gets into a rhythm and back in playing quarterback, get into a rhythm with his guys and things like that, that's all going to come. Just got to give it a little bit of time. But the zip was there, and as long as he's got that zip, that means he ain't worried about whipping it real good. Like, you know what I mean? He's going to whip it hard. So I'm excited. Hey,
I said pause.
There's a pause. There's a pause there. But no, seriously, it's there, man. He's got the zip, and that was my main concern because I was worried about his mental. Is he going to be scared to get that ball through? You need the zip for those tight windows, right? You want to make sure you be able to get the ball in the little smallest crevice of a crack you can get it, depending on how well defenses play. The good thing is, he's going up against the number one defense in the NFL, so this is only going to whip him back into shape very quickly. So I'm glad the zip was there, John. Good point.
And you know, one more thing that's interesting to me, if you just look, like this was Brock's first practice, it's only the second of the year. He got more reps today than he did the entire training camp last year. Entire training camp last year.
He made mention of that. I thought that was funny.
It's true. And I was just going to say, like, for all the people who are maybe concerned about, you know, Brock having some rust or looking quote unquote bad, I'm just going to remind people that he looked like the last pick in the draft, that last year's training camp. He did. And what did he do when he got the opportunity to start? He looked great. So you can't always judge a quarterback based on how they look in training camp, much less when they aren't in pads, and, you know, maybe much less when they're playing against the best defense in the league in practice, right? So just want people to keep that in mind. And again, it's Brock's first practice back throwing, you know, since the injury. So this is huge, and I expect only good things from here on out. And it's great that, you know, Brock spoke with the media after practice, and he said he's no longer feeling pain like after throwing. And I think that's also a pretty big development in him progressing through this injury and you know, getting behind that. So yet another positive sign that everything's going well. And I think it's a great sign for the team as well. So he also said he could make all the throws, and he was throwing some deep balls out there right? Even some overthrows. I mean, at this point, just to prove that he can do it, I think I'm okay with the fact that he can overthrow someone. At least we know he can throw like 50 yards downfield, right?
That was not an issue. He even started practice their warm up. You know, it was all four quarterbacks were out there. Brock was throwing the deepest, you know, through one of the quality control coaches. I mean, it was 35, 35, 35, backed up 45, 45, backed up 50, 55. I mean, just chunking it, just casually, you know, just laying the ball out there. That was great to see. And, you know, I kept watching. Is he favoring his elbow? Is he grabbing it? Is he doing this stuff? You know, whatever else. It was fine. It was no issues. And again, back to the zip thing, he even had some of the passes to the flats where he kind of, you know, baseball short step turn. And so that was there too, which is going to put even more pressure on your actual elbow. So like if you just cut and pasted all the throws that he did today, you could not decide if that was 2022 or 2023 Brock. And that's the positive. I understand that people want to like pick apart, like, oh, you know, he went 3 for whatever. Yeah. Flash in the pan, whatever. Like, nah, man, that's not what this is. That's not what this is.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, one of the things also, we can continue talking about Brock, but I think Brock being back had other implications as well for some of the other quarterbacks that I do want to touch on as well, because I was curious to see how is this going to impact Trey Lance and Darnold and how they split those second team reps, right? Brad, the SF Niners, Brad Graham, he tweeted out that early in practice, it was Brock Purdy, who, by the way, got all of the first team reps today. That's also great news. Trey Lance started with the second team reps, but they ended up rotating second team reps between Lance and Darnold. And then Brandon Allen got all of the third team reps. But it sounded like Lance and Darnold, Grant said that it was 20 minutes between those split rep opportunities. So Lance would have to wait 20 minutes for, Darnold to have his shot at those second team, and then they'd switch. So Darnold would then be waiting 20 minutes and whatnot. So did you see that, John? And do you think like that impacted anything at all today?
It was interesting. I think both quarterbacks are working on different things, and I think that they need to work on different things. For Trey, it's all about processing and quick development, which today he was on, man. He is releasing the ball faster. Because, whenever they're just going through their, passing drills with their, running backs and tight ends and whatever else, they do what's called just a mirrored route drill. It's a verified Saints drill, whatever. There's lots of different terms for coaching staff. But, okay, I'm throwing the out route this way. You're throwing the out route this way. We're snapping the ball at the same time and whatever else. Trey Lance, you take 20 to 30 reps. He was the fastest release because usually it was Purdy to the left, him to the right, then they'd flip. So I would argue that, yeah, they split second team reps, but Lance was first every single time again, which he was yesterday as well. So if you want to look into that, that's cool. But Trey Lance is getting the ball out faster. He's getting the ball out faster than Brock and Darnold, which I never would have expected. And I think that's a huge positive because what's his weakness? Holds onto the ball too long, can't develop it. It's clear that the processing power's up. Even whenever it went to team, he was getting the ball out quick, wasn't efficient. Nobody was efficient today from a quarterback standpoint. But if Trey can get that quick pace delivery, the talent's there. It's just the processing speed's just a little slow. So
I mean, that's the main thing he lacked. I mean, even coming out of college, I mean, that's not the style of football that he played. He's a pro-style quarterback. He lines up under the center, it's hike the ball, fake the handoff, play action pass, get the ball down the field. If he does, there was no shotgun. It was just different for him. So now he's starting to, after working out with Jeff Christensen, going through these little mechanic changes, little tweaks to his mechanics, he's looking like a professional quarterback that's progressing. Now he just needs the reps and the experience, to get it. But with Brock Purdy being here, I really just love this competition. I know people say there's no competition. No. There's still competition. I want people to understand that they're still competing. It doesn't matter if they're competing for 1, 2, or 3. There's competition, period. And the whole purpose is for Kyle Shanahan to have to make that tough decision. And I want Trey Lance and Sam Darnold and whoever else is working at quarterback to make the decision tough for Kyle Shanahan to have to pick a starting quarterback. I know Brock Purdy's QB1 right now in camp, but that can easily change, especially if these quarterbacks keep progressing. And from the stuff that I read today, sound like Sam Darnold had a damn good day. So let's talk about Sam Darnold a little bit because no one's giving this dude any credit.
Well, we'll talk about Darnold, but real quickly, I just want to talk about Brandon Allen because, at what point do we feel like Brandon Allen's reps are a waste and a disservice?
Is Kyle trying to trade him? Is this a trade?
That's what I'm kind of wondering. Look, we just saw Joe Burrow go down today, and granted, we don't know exactly the extent of that injury, but the point is injuries do happen this time of the year, right?
They do.
And you have how many quarterbacks that you're just hoarding at this point, and you can dangle in front of a team to see what you can get out of them? I think that's probably the end game.
Steph, how crazy would it be if Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and that organization traded Brandon Allen back to Cincinnati after they picked him up in free agency and got something for it? That, man, we just one-upped him.
He was there the last 3 years. He was their number 2.
That would be the guy I would want back.
Playing chess, not checkers.
Ooh, bingo.
It's funny because Brandon Allen goes in, and he's with the 3s. It's different. It's just different. You could tell that there's a dramatic drop off, just in arm talent and everything from the top 3 to Brandon Allen. I don't think Kyle's going to move anybody unless they get a really good trade offer. And even then, I think he's going to wait. But yeah, it's weird. I would really like those reps to go to Darnold or Lance personally, but Kyle always loves the back end quarterback. It doesn't matter who it is, man.
He loves the underdog.
He sees himself. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's out there throwing the ball for defensive turnover drill every day. Like, it's his dream, man. He sees himself as the 4th-string quarterback. It's just who it is. And he's got a soft spot for it. We all got something.
We all do. Really quickly, I got to give a shout out to Jack Knox. The best to do it. I'm enjoying camp. Thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. She's
incredible.
That deserves a huge shout out. I need a
wait,
sound.
Wait. I have that.
You have
it. Let's go. Jax, let's go.
You ever hang around Wayne, the horns, they're coming out, man.
They're coming out.
It is. On that DJ Khaled-ish. Okay.
You know it is. We the best.
But okay, you want to talk about Sam Darnold, and I do too, because it seems like he might have been the only quarterback of the day that didn't really struggle that much. And while the numbers didn't really indicate it, I saw many reports from people who said that he looked like the better quarterback today. He was decisive. He had zip on his throws. So, John, what did you see today out of Darnold that, impressed you?
It was funny because I was like tweeting out in the middle of practice, and I was like, all right, man, Brock's Brock. Awesome. Trey, he's decisive, getting the ball out quick. I couldn't type anything on Darnold that was even remotely nice halfway through practice. He was lost. You could tell like the playbook's new to him still. Like it was just not a good and this is through quarterback drills, 7-on-7, whatever else. Now, the last team drill where he got the majority 2 snaps, he was the 3 biggest plays of the day all took place during that time period with Sam Darnold. So if you're picking highlights from team drill, Sam Darnold's got 1, 2, and 3 today. Okay. But he's got a ways to go with the playbook. I'm just going to be honest. Like I don't think that he has grasped it completely yet. But that doesn't discount he had the 3 best offensive plays today, and they were all to 3 different wide receivers, which I like as well. But I would not walk away from today saying Sam Darnold had like an amazing day. Was it the best of the quarterbacks? Yes. But I'm telling you, if you watched the first half of practice and left, you'd be like, man, Sam Darnold's not even close to Trey Lance or Brock Purdy. But then the team drill kind of saved him. So how you weigh those, that's up to you. But judging from day 1 and day 2, I think Trey has had the best camp thus far from the quarterbacks. And then I'd put Darnold second. Brock's a whole different, animal. Just glad that he's there. And Brock should be quarterback 1. I think Brock is quarterback 1. I think he will continue to be that. But if you're just looking at who's played the best out of these quarterbacks, I'd say Trey Lance collectively, then Sam Darnold is kind of how I would rank them through 2 days.
I didn't see a lot of clips of Darnold's passes, so I'm hoping we get that the 49ers post their little.
Any. Yeah, right? So like as soon as the 4th period ends, which is all individual drills, they walk around. Me and Brad got yelled at today. They were going to throw me out. Like you can't even tweet. You can't have your phone out. And so
they're tough.
Darnold shined during that time.
Got you.
All right. So when no one's allowed to look or film.
They tried taking away my notepad. I was like, I don't.
You can't even take notes.
I just got my notes, and they're like, you can't take notes on the plays. And I was like, I'm not writing any plays down.
That's it was just they didn't do that before.
Yeah, one lady was a little upset, but that's okay. She was nice. I tried to say thank you afterwards, but she wasn't having it.
Wow, interesting.
There's a couple that were going after. They went after Brad too.
About every other player from every other camp. You get that.
Yeah, we do. Like other teams.
We are airtight. The Niners are airtight.
Now, back when Chip Kelly was here, he wouldn't let anybody out there. So,
that's true. It's progress, I think.
Yeah, it's progress.
It's progress.
Someone said 49ers sent out the feds. yeah, they're airtight. They're airtight.
Look at Vicky in the chat.
Vicky
she said
John
was not nice. Stop lying. Yeah, Vicky called her out quick. What's up, Vicky? Thank you for Vicky's the reason why I was there today. So she helped get a brother in there. So thank you so much, Vicky.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So Darnold, unfortunately, we don't have, I guess, too much to go off of, but it's good that he had a good day. Like I've been saying, I want all these quarterbacks to do well. I think that's best case scenario for this team. And I think Kyle, honestly, wants to have a very difficult decision at the end of all this, right? It seems like that might complicate things, but I mean, I think they feel like that's a good situation to be in. So, while it may confuse us a little bit as to why they would want to do this, I think it's just to try to see if they can get the best out of all these guys.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. I'll start with Wayne. Like, is there anything in your opinion that Trey Lance or Sam Darnold could do to take away Brock's spot for week 1? In your opinion, is there anything through training camp and the preseason that either quarterback could do to become quarterback 1?
I would say yes. Mainly for Trey, because he's already been starter before. So if he's showing this progress that he can be the starting quarterback, he's grasped the playbook, he's making all the throws, he's doing all these different types of things where he's checking all the goddamn boxes. If he's checking all the boxes, then the decision should be superiorly hard for Kyle Shanahan to make, even though you already destined Brock Purdy to be quarterback 1. So Trey Lance has that opportunity. It's just a little harder. So he has to go out there and prove it. And it doesn't look like Brock's going to have any setbacks. So that's more adversity on Trey to sit there. I say, I got to be on my A+ game every single day. If Trey Lance just keeps doing the things that he's doing, the coach is going to have to look at it and be like, I got to figure something out. Maybe he goes dual quarterback this year, something he said he would never do. We don't know, but I do feel like Trey Lance has that opportunity. As far as Sam Darnold, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. There's no way he's learned the playbook anytime soon. Sam Darnold is that, not emergency quarterback, but he's the guy that you feel comfortable with running specific types of plays if something happened to the two quarterbacks. And so that's why he's here.
On the other hand, like I kind of think that, this is Brock Purdy's job, and I feel like it should be, right? That's hard to argue. But also, I just think it would be so tough. And even I think it was John Lynch that said it, like, it would be hard, or I don't know what the exact word he said, but to do what Brock Purdy did in actual games compared to what Lance may do in practice, just the way those don't weigh the same,
Yeah.
So
I think they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. Yeah. No,
he did it in the playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to put anything above what Brock Purdy did in comparison to who's on, Lance or Darnold right now. So I just don't see it happening. I don't want to say it's impossible. Nothing is impossible, but I
didn't say it would happen. I said there's a possibility. I don't know. I'm not saying it would. I do agree with you guys. I do feel like Brock has earned the quarterback 1 spot, and he's done nothing to lose it. And the only way he wouldn't be QB1 is if he was injured. But I still feel that Trey has an opportunity. And so he has to go out there and make the best of it. I don't know what would make Kyle change his mind, but we all know Kyle does weird stuff. So it's a possibility that it can happen. It might be a
wild card
ball of confusion between him and John Lynch, but Kyle runs the team. So we'll see. But listen, if Trey keeps doing the good things, or Brock just stays 1, and if something was to happen, they're super confident in what Trey Lance can do. So I don't know. I think it's just a win-win situation, in my opinion, for the San Francisco 49ers. It's just win-win. It's just a win-win.
This is a great issue. This is a great issue. You've got 3 quarterbacks, Kyle 4. Kyle loves everybody. This is great. Organically, it's going to work itself out. I really hope we have one quarterback play the whole year. It hasn't happened but once in the past decade for the 49ers. So this is good. This is all very, very good.
Yeah, it's great. Really quickly, another shout out for Daryl for the donations. So glad to see you all. Thanks for all you do. And then we got one from Vicky as well. I need to find me a man who loves me the way Wayne Breezy loves Trey Lance.
Listen, good luck. I'm just messing with you, sis. Good luck, though. Like, good luck. No, I mean, look, it's just, I just feel like Trey Lance, when he's given the opportunity, whenever his opportunity knocks again, I just feel like he's more prepared. Before he was handed the keys last year, I didn't think he was as prepared. I felt like they were going to work. He was going to be a work in progress. And he still could be a work in progress in the NFL because he hasn't played much. I just feel like, though, from his perspective and from the things we've watched him do over this past offseason, he's been doing all the things he needs to do to be prepared. And the only thing that he needs other than that is the live reps, the real game action, those types of things. So if he continues to do things to wow or whoa the organization, there's a possibility that you see Trey Lance, especially if we start taking a decline with our quarterback one. It's just things can happen. That's all I'm saying.
Anything is possible, right? But just really quickly, like on Lance, so like, yes, we're talking about the fact that he has an opportunity in front of him, and I think he does. But I also want to just talk about just some of the things that his teammates have said about him. And you can think what you want about what teammates say about other teammates, because they're always going to have something good to say. But to me, it's what they said that I guess, is notable. They pointed out Lance's confidence and his comfort. And to me, those were things that when I saw Trey Lance play in the past, those things were not there. And like, for me, that was always the thing that made me hesitant about Trey Lance being the starter, because I wasn't comfortable watching him play because it didn't look like he was comfortable. Like, yes, he might have a good play here and there, and he did have a couple, but it just didn't look like he had that command of the offense. And when I watched Brock Purdy play, that's something that was so evident, and I watched Brock Purdy and I felt comfortable. I was at ease. Even watching Jimmy play made me nervous, to an extent.
Yeah, happy feet.
So with Lance, like the fact that he's, growing his confidence and his comfort level, I feel like that's a great takeaway. We've talked about all the other positive takeaways about the quarterbacks. But for me, Lance, like that's a big one for me. And one thing that Rohan mentioned today is that Lance didn't try to push the ball downfield much after he threw an interceptable pass, and that one ended up being dropped. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
it should have been picked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel like his confidence maybe took a dip today? And
no.
If so, no? Okay.
No, I don't think so. I didn't see that at all. Like he was firing quick. And there were a lot of good positive reps. Ball's still a little high from the accuracy standpoint. That's just going to be there. And so like that's what is. What's up? I love all the chat's firing right now.
Yeah.
But like, back to kind of what we're talking about quarterbacks, like, okay, what is each quarterback's strength? That's important. But also what's their weakness? And so if you can mitigate and bring those together, you talked about confidence. It's all moxie with Brock, right? His very first touchdown pass to Kyle Juszczyk against Miami, like I remember it vividly. He hits Kyle in the flats. He turns around and points up and starts celebrating before he even scored the touchdown. Like, what kind of undrafted rookie does that in his first game ever? Like, he didn't even wait for him to score. He's already bragging and whatever. Like, moxie is his thing. That's not who Trey is. Trey is humble. He came out right after he throws an interception. He goes to the press conference. I made a bad read. I threw it here. Accountability, humbleness, all those things. But you got to get a little bit of, Woody Harrelson in 21, White Men Can't Jump. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's what I want. And so I want, when's that going to come? He looks more confident, but I want cocky. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Am I by myself here?
No. I mean, I think that in order for the team or some of his teammates and for Kyle to have that trust in him, he needs to show some of that, So
I think
what
until
I'm
the pass
come
on,
that's
what I'm waiting on. Like Trey's checking boxes. Brock's out there. Brock is great. Like, this is just, I'm not worried about Brock at all. I don't think anybody is. I just want the others to have that option. I want the diversified portfolio at quarterback where, man, when we get one or two guys down, we're going to be okay. And I don't think we're there yet, especially with Darnold. I don't think he's there yet. And Trey, he's checking boxes, but we haven't seen where he's been deficient. And that's when the pads come on and the processing, all those things. But I'm very happy with what I've seen through through 2 days so far.
Wayne, you were gonna say something?
I don't know. I
said something that pissed him off.
I just feel like that's a tad bit unfair to if that's not his personality, then that's not his personality. So like if he's not that guy that's gonna be, we've seen him be fired up, so he can get fired up. But Trey also needs, I wish I could curse. He also needs the opportunity to do the damn thing, right? Like he needs to be out there, and if he's not getting that opportunity, you're not going to see that. You just said that Brock Purdy did that. You didn't see none of that shit from Brock Purdy until he threw that pass, and then all of a sudden he started feeling himself because he was that dude. Well, Trey Lance hasn't really had the opportunity to give you that moxie, and we don't know what his moxie is. So I'm sure after he scores a touchdown, we saw Trey Lance do what he did, but he also knew he wasn't going to be the starting quarterback his rookie year. He knew it was still Jimmy's team. And the moment he got his chance, he got injured. So I don't know. I just think that's a tad bit unfair to sit there and say you don't know if Trey Lance has that. First you complained about Jimmy Garoppolo not being accountable. Then you get a quarterback that's accountable. Like, which one do you want? Like, do you want the fired
I want all of it. I want it all.
But then you gotta give him time. We don't know if we'll get Trey Lance to get to that point if he ain't playing any games. I'm sure he could be fired up on the sideline, but come on, man, you on the sideline, you ain't playing football, you ain't gonna be that fired up. You know what I'm saying?
Somewhat it reminds me of Brandon Ayuk, because Brandon Ayuk went from being in the doghouse, and look at him now. You know what I mean?
Timid,
now
but to be fair again, come on, that didn't happen until Fred Warner and Brandon Ayuk really got into it. It wasn't the doghouse that gave him that mentality. The doghouse made that motherfucker started playing the right way. Like, stop being. When Brandon Ayuk came into the league, he was that dude coming out of college, right? Like, he was that guy. He was number one wide receiver, like from Arizona State. It was all about him. And when he came into the league on this, who said it? Was it? I can't remember who said it, but they said it's to play in this offense. You know what I'm saying? And I think they were asking about like Danny Gray, but he talked about Brandon Ayuk.
It was Debo. It was Debo.
Was it Debo that said it? To play in this offense, you got to be able to do a lot of other things other than just be that wide receiver. And I think that's why he ended up in the doghouse. But he didn't get fired up until him and Fred, somebody threw a punch. And after that, Brandon Ayuk's Evander Holyfield.
Could you imagine trying to punch Fred Warner? That is just crazy to me.
I felt like he took it on the chin and kept it moving and just. But that's I mean, and don't get it twisted, y'all. I want that too. Like I want every player to bring as much energy as I bring when I'm at the game or when I'm watching the game or when I'm doing content. I want that energy from every player. I agree with you. That moxie makes a difference because it gets people fired up. But you got to give them an opportunity to do it.
I think all I heard was I need to disagree with you more often, Wayne, to get you out of your shell. I think that's what it is.
If this was the John and Wayne show, Steph, it would have been a bunch of these.
Feel free to use them. I'm just saying.
We would have had YouTube flags flying in our emails.
All right. Well, I think we spoke about the quarterback position for quite a bit. I saw someone asking about the running backs.
Thank you.
And I do want to talk about that too, because they seem to be doing pretty well so far. And it looks like it's a great running back room from top to bottom this year. And that's something to be very excited about. Yesterday, we heard about TDP. Today, I saw good things about Elijah Mitchell, also Kalen Laburn. So
Laburn, baby.
Let's go.
That's my dark horse. Listen, John.
Is it Laburn? Have I been saying it wrong?
We've been saying it wrong, and it's okay.
It's not Laborn.
It's Laburn.
I trust anybody else on pronunciation over myself. So
so here's where I want to start with. I want to start with not today's practice. I want to start with yesterday's practice. I want to start with the fumble from Jordan Mason.
Yeah, it was Mason.
So that was that. I want to start with that. Do you feel like that can be, John? You were there. Do you feel like we've never seen him fumble before? He didn't really have fumble issues coming out of college. Was it just a good hit?
It was like on the mesh point was weird between, I think it was Trey Lance and him. It was weird because I was watching it. I was like, whoa, what happened? What, like, cause it was a jumbled mess. I was looking through the D line and offensive line, the angle I was looking at, and I was like, man, what the hell happened? And so then afterwards I saw, oh, there was a fumble, whatever, but I couldn't say what that was or what it wasn't. The ball was on the ground. I couldn't see from my vantage point what happened there. There was a drop pass yesterday from several different people. I did think that he had a good catch today, sticking with Mason. LeBourne's popping, though. His speed is evident.
I told y'all.
You see it.
Here's why I love him, though. When I first put out a piece about him, I put his wrong 40 time because that's what I researched and found. He had zero problems correcting it. He's like, I'm more like a 4-4, 4-4, 4-5 guy. I think that's what he said. I'm more like a 4-4 guy. I was like, my bad. That ain't what the internet said. But all right. But nah, he's been cool ever since. So that's the kid that I feel like has an opportunity. Ronald Awad as well. Like, the Niners just get running backs, and they have been churning the wheel at that position, and they know when to let them go. They know when to bring new ones in. Like, John, who's standing out other than Jordan Mason? Who's the guy that's standing out? Like I heard.
It's hard. That's one of the worst positions to evaluate in training camp.
No
and
pads,
it's an even
right?
harder thing with no pads because you can't tackle them. And so D-line, you have to go behind them. So you get yelled at by Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, who decides if you have a job, if you cut in front of him, what you have to do to play defense. And so you have to kind of go against your nature and go behind them and let them keep running, whatever. It's difficult. So it's hard. I think the vision of LeBourne has been an issue. He hesitates a little bit too much, but once he decides, it's like, okay, that belongs. But vision's a problem in his game. You go watch his tape, and it's like, okay, he's running into his own blockers 2 or 3 times a drive, but still scoring touchdowns. He's a ping pong ball. If he can get that down, that's huge. But the number one thing for me in all running backs, can you catch the damn ball? We know what CMC can do.
Yeah.
Everybody's a powerhouse back there behind CMC. Who can catch the ball in the freaking open field?
That's a good point.
That's the thing. Yesterday, TDP had a great catch on a rail route from Trey Lance, one of the biggest plays of the day. Today, Jordan Mason had a nice catch out in the flats from Darnold that I really liked. Like, that's what I'm trying to – who's going to bring some type of receiving upside? Because none of them are true receiving backs. That's one of the things I'm like, somebody got to step up here.
When the pads come on too, like I would like to see who can step up and pass pro, because we know also like that's a big thing for coaches. Maybe not us fans, right? That's not the sexy thing to be good at, but it's huge. It's huge in games, and that's how you get on the 53. That's how you get active on game days, if you have that ability. So yeah, I mean, John, what you said is true, but also I think pass protection is another thing for especially some of these younger guys. And I mean, Jordan Mason clearly improved in that as he went on too, because he did get some of that time on the field late in the season. Some of that was because of Elijah Mitchell, but still. So let's see if Layburn can do the same, and Awad and all that. But this is such a great group of guys, and I think it's going to be a really tough decision when it comes to roster cut time. And who knows? I mean, you said, Wayne, they know when to get rid of guys and when to trade them.
It's so crazy.
Just saying, there's going to be someone who's good and who we have maybe liked on this team. One of these running backs probably going to end up getting traded. Don't kill the messenger. That's just my thought. But that's real great stuff. And let's talk about the offensive line.
Shanahan running backs are everywhere around the league.
They're everywhere.
I mean,
and why? One, because all the Shanahan disciples are spread out now, that's but true. Also because they got talent. Like they show well in San Francisco, and it's a great place to be a running back.
Well, I think the main reason is, or to go along with the things that you guys just said, is the simple fact that in the 49ers system, it's a lot. That means you have to be smart as to understand what's going on. So they're probably not even going to be utilized the same way in any other system unless they go to one of the disciples. But if they go to any of those other teams, they'll probably be utilized a little bit different and have opportunities or whatever. But when you get a Kyle Shanahan piece, man, teams are salivating at cut day for these 49ers if that don't make the 53-man. I mean, salivating. They're ready to bring them in, even for a workout, just to work their mind, to get some things. And that's why a lot of stuff in training camp is vanilla. Like a lot of stuff isn't really what we're going to be doing until we get down to the nitty-gritty of things. So I'm excited at that position by nature because that's just who I am. I was a running back all my life, and I can't wait to see what Bobby Turner and Anthony Lynn comes up. Like, what's the game plan for this year? Because what John said was super important. Because without that wrinkle to the add that element to our offense, we're kind of stagnant, right? We need the pass catching ability. What happened when Christian McCaffrey came?
Everything open. Floodgates open.
It even let the run game open up. Remember when they would put Elijah Mitchell in? He was getting like 9 yards a carry because Christian McCaffrey just changed the flow of the offense and how defenses had to play. So I'm excited at that position, and I think whoever they choose, Steph, I feel the trade coming, and I don't even want to put it in the air, but whoever they choose, we gonna rock with it. I think we gonna be happy.
Because, you mentioned the fact that everyone's kind of waiting to see who the 49ers cut, but you don't want to give anyone away for free. So you might as well just try to see if you could get something. And I think that's what will give me, some solace. But we got a couple of super chats. Niner Cali boy said,
that's my dog.
Kyle said Trey isn't a running QB, but doesn't call the same plays he calls for Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. I think Trey lack of development is a coaching flaw.
Well, this is interesting, right? I don't know. I don't know if I agree with like the first part, but I don't know if it's a coaching flaw or if it's Trey Lance. I just felt like Kyle Shanahan was trying to develop Trey differently than he did the other guys. And I think it's because of Trey's abilities. The fact that he can run, I just felt like that's what Kyle Shanahan was setting up, utilizing his strengths and setting up for that play action pass and trying to keep these defenses to play honest, like 11-on-11 football. And it just backfired because Trey got tackled by a big 357-pound dude. He's not that heavy, but you know what I'm saying.
They had like 125 rush yards and 2 drives that Seattle game. Yeah. Like, they were moving the ball at will.
They were moving it at will. So it was just, I guess you could call it a freak injury. It wasn't supposed to happen, but at the end of the day, I mean, if Trey Lance cuts a different way and gets to the outside, I mean, it's like a 30-yard gain, but instead he followed his blocker. So it's just weird to say that it's a coaching flaw. I just think he wasn't where he needed to be, and I think they were willing to take their time to allow Trey Lance to develop last year by the way they built the team to surround him.
I think my take on that is like, I don't think it's really a coaching flaw, but I do think that Kyle wasn't as comfortable calling plays for Lance as the other quarterbacks.
And his finger was broken. His finger was broke. He couldn't throw the ball.
And at that time, we didn't really know that information.
But, and again, I go back to this, and I see the comment here from Chaz just about how they reached on Trey. We still don't know, and that could be a flaw. Like, I'm fine. Criticism's okay, but, like, we don't know. There is not enough bad tape on Trey to say he's not great. There's not enough good tape to say he is great. We just don't know. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
It's pretty simple.
I want to know.
Brian Carter said, Chapman, Steph, and Breezy, let's go. Training camp.
Brian's
People are liking this, this
trio
here.
I'm feeling awesome about this.
Well, can we give credit to Steph for setting it up? Because I don't think I like when I saw my messages, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, it was just an easy yes. Like, so Steph, we appreciate you for wanting to rock out. You know what I mean? This is something we can build.
I knew the vibes were going to be immaculate. So, but let's talk about offensive line really quick, because that's the one thing that I think, like, if you asked anybody going into training camp, that would be like one position, or at least Colton McKivitz. Like Colton McKivitz is one person on this team that we're all kind of like wondering about.
And I ain't wondering. Like y'all keep wondering. Stop wondering about McKivitz. He held his own. Matter of fact,
no, I'm with you.
Trent Williams shut the shit down today. He said what he said, and I believe everything he said. McKivitz is going to be fine. Leroy Watson is going to be fine. You just think, and Spencer Burford are going to be an all-pro. I just feel like stop worrying about the line, please.
But last year, Banks, Burford, Brindle, same thing, man. It was the same thing. Just copy and paste the criticism. If Shanahan and Forrester believe in these guys, at some point you got to give them enough credit. At some point you got to. Until they're wrong. When have they been wrong on this? They went 3 for 3 last year. At least I think they did.
I just not as worried as everybody else. I know he's the question mark, Steph. So you're right. He is the question mark because he's never started. But when he was asked to play, he did pretty damn
Ask
good.
Aaron Donald about Colton McKivitz.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only person you need to ask. I could care about anybody else.
Yeah.
Look, I don't. Look, I'm not worried. But I guess I expected more like tweets about him. Like I haven't seen any reports.
I know.
Really,
I get what you're saying.
Seeing anything how
There's
he's doing.
There's nothing you can take away. My first year coaching was O-line. My first year, I was an O-line coach. And half the drills, I'm like, look, there's no pads. Like, what's the first thing that an O-lineman does when they strike? You grab the breastplate of the shoulder pads, which is non-existent. You can't do it right now. Your target strikes, all that stuff's not there. You can't use your shoulder pads. Like, it's just a mess. And so right now you're just working footwork. You're working assignments. You're working, okay, these are our combos on this alignment, this alignment, this alignment. And it's just, you just got to wait. Monday, the pads come on. And I'll be honest. I have not watched offensive lineman one lick. Not at all, because it's just not time. But Monday, I don't give a damn about quarterbacks. I don't care about wide receivers and corners. It is O-line, D-line time, baby. And so Monday, that is the time. Right now, it's just, I don't know. It's like the combine almost out there.
Skill positions. It's all about the skill positions.
So what you're saying is I have to be patient.
I think we all do. There's no positive or negative you can really take away from it. There really isn't.
That's a great point.
And I'm not saying McKivitz in practice won't get beat on a rep. Like it's not what I'm saying. I just
especially when Bosa comes back.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying he won't get beat. All I'm saying is I feel like he's gonna fare well once the regular season starts. He's played on this level. Like, he's not a new guy to the team. He's not a new guy to the system. He's been in the system. When his number was called, he performed well. Is he a better run blocker than Mike McGlinchey? No. But he's a better pass protector. And so we'll see. And everybody wants the pass protection to be better. So if you got a better pass protector out there, why are we worried? I feel like we'll run the ball just as successful as we've been doing the past several years. So patience for all of us, a little patience, but I just feel like the line is gonna fare well. It's not how it was last year, where they had a rookie starting. You had Jake Brindle in his first year starting ever in his life, and then Aaron Banks first year starting ever in his life. It's not the same this year. They're a little bit more cohesive, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And what's crazy is McKivitz has been on the team longer than Banks and Burford,
right?
And Brindle.
Facts.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about them. I think they're going to be fine. And I think the fact that it's just one new starter on the line, as opposed to last season when they had the 3 new starters and they turned out to be just fine. So I think with that group, most of them being the same, and, McKivitz already having experience on this team for several years now, I think that's going to help with the cohesion. I just got to wait for my offensive line updates. But
I do have one for you, Steph. I got one.
Oh yeah.
John Feliciano, who's so important. He was practicing at left guard today. I thought that was crazy. So I was wondering,
right guy.
I know that's what he's played in the past. I mean, he's played center, he's played right guard, all those things, but I saw in the comments, I missed Brunskill. I forgot who put it up there, but I'm with you. Brunskill was the glue and kind of the safety net of the O-line. But, Brunskill was swapping out series with Spencer Burford. That does not seem to be the case whatsoever. And the fact that you got Feliciano behind Banks and you had Jason Poe working with the twos at the right guard spot, I thought that was interesting. I was shocked whenever I saw it, to be honest with you.
Coach Cruz here is asking, does Jalen Moore make the squad? Look, like I would say he's on the bubble, but yesterday when Trent Williams wasn't in team drills, Jalen Moore got that opportunity.
76. You see him out there all the time.
I don't know.
I feel like,
and I have not seen Matt Pryor go over to the left side yet.
See, I was gonna say it's gonna come down to those two guys, Pryor and Moore. One of those two guys are gonna be the swing tackle.
I think Pryor's a lock.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll see. Like
the contract says
starting Monday. Starting Monday, we're going to see.
I jumped ahead. Thank you. I got to slow down.
But look, you know what we are seeing a lot of updates on is this defense.
It's the best damn defense.
And newsflash, like we're gonna be getting it all camp. Like every single year, this happens, right? And this is with Nick Bosa not even out there yet. And Steve Wilkes spoke with the media after practice and said he's never been around a group this talented. I believe it. One of the tweets from Brad earlier said, no pads, but DL looked solid today. Austin Bryant continues to flash along with Drake Jackson and Javon Hargrave. Javon Kinlaw is also showing a seemingly faster get-off. Wow. Like
Austin Bryant was a shock to me. He was working in with the second team the whole time. And so, like, what happens when practice starts, they break up into defensive alignment. And so they send the ones to this side and they send the twos and the threes over there. Austin Bryant was going back and forth. He was one of the only players that was started with the twos, went over to the ones. So I thought that was interesting. And then, if we're just sticking with D-line, two things that I really, really like. Kerry Hyder's back at D-end where he belongs. Last year, after all the injuries, they moved him inside, and he just kind of took one on the chin, not where he's supposed to play. He's back outside, almost exclusive. I've not seen him take one snap inside. Same with, Alex Barrett, who's a back into the roster guy. He did the same thing last year. He's not a defensive tackle, played out of position because of all the injuries last year. So I love the fact that Wilkes is saying, nope, get your ass outside where you belong. Sorry. Oh, I cussed. My bad. But get them where you belong. That is great. It's a little late there, Wayne. My bad. My bad.
I didn't know.
I got to give the sign.
You usually don't curse, so I didn't know. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared.
I'm sorry, families.
But look, are we buying the Kinlaw hype another year in a row? Like, are we?
I don't know if we should buy the hype, but I think we need to have a little bit more faith. And I really feel with Kinlaw's situation, they came out and said that this is the healthiest that he's been since, period, right? And so because now he might have his health down packed, he's been at the facility like for the past 2 years trying to get right. But if he's more of a rotational piece, my faith just is going more through the roof. Why? Because he's not going to be utilized heavily. He'll be a rotational piece. And that right there is going to allow him to stay fresh, stay healthy, right? And get and do the things that he does. He's a freaking run stuffing monster. Somebody responded to one of my tweets today when I talked about the defensive line, and they called him like a monster. And I was just like, wow. So you got Eric Armstead, the giant, you got Kinlaw, the monster or the beast, and then you got Hargrave. Like, it was just a dope ass analogy. And I just feel like Kinlaw, if you don't want to buy the hype, that's okay. I know you want to see it. It's his contract season. He's playing on his fifth year. No, not his fifth year. He's playing on his last year. I'm sorry, he didn't get the fifth year option, and it's put up or shut up for him. And I think this is the best opportunity. Signing Javon Hargrave. Signing Javon Hargrave might be the best thing for this guy.
It's managed expectations. I mean, that was the problem. He came in the DeForest Buckner trade. He wasn't DeForest Buckner, but can he be a good third defensive tackle? Hell yeah, he can. That's awesome. It's just figure, and there's a role for that in the NFL. Now, did he live up to being a top 15 pick? He has not, and that's okay. But if you look at the defensive tackle class of that draft class, nobody was. There's Derek Brown, and then there's nobody else. And Derek Brown was gone before he drafted. Has Kinlaw lived up to it? No. But if he could just be that role player and grow from that, that would be awesome. And so, yeah, is he all-world Pro Bowl? No. But now he just gets to do what he's supposed to do and then grow from there. And that's okay. That's all this defense needs. That's all that it needs.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a rotational guy, that may be the perfect spot for him, right? And yeah, that isn't exactly what they envisioned when they drafted him when they did. And the role that, because it was DeForest Buckner replacement, right? And he didn't live up to that. But, like you said, maybe he can be a solid rotational guy on this team. So, I'm not getting too excited, overly excited, but as someone said in the chat, like anything he gives you is a bonus at this point. Yep. So I guess there's reason for some optimism, I think. We're getting some questions about some of the rookies. I mean, someone said, someone gave us a super chat. They were excited for Tig and Huff out there together. Dude, I saw that Jair Brown was getting some work at nickel. Like,
not during team or anything else. It was, so again, the start of practice is defensive alignment, where they literally take their helmets off and they just sit and they bring out all the kind of different formations and just test things. And so they sent Tig to the second team, and they had him shadowing Quantrez Knight, who's the number 2 nickel currently. And so the formation comes out, and literally Quantrez Knight just grabs Tig and says, "Hey man, you go over here. This is the call. This is what you're looking." So it was an introductory alignment period.
Look at the young buck teaching the young buck, man.
Yeah, Quantrez and Knight was all about it.
I love it. Shout out to Quantrez Knight too. Like, he put out a tweet and he responded to my tweet, and he's just a great guy.
Yeah. He belongs. He's a fan favorite. That fan favorite with the kids, back-to-back days.
He loves the kids. Yeah,
I mean, he's a good dude. But I was not expecting, the rookie to be getting nickel work. He got no work in there with the corners, but just during the alignment period, it was an introductory. This is where you're going to line up, and that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
The options that these players are going to give is going to be something that the NFL, I just feel like, isn't going to be ready for. You got to pay attention.
First one out back-to-back days, by the way.
And you got to pay attention to why they draft the players they draft. Like, pay attention. Trust me. It's gonna be something special. It's gonna be.
And that's a Steve Wilks pick.
That's a Steve.
That was his guy.
That's what we
got to remember too. He's gonna get the opportunity sooner than later. I think.
I don't know, and somebody out there, they can tell us, because we're not researching right now. I remember Steve Wilks coaching one of the greatest safeties of all time, Sean Taylor. And I'm not comparing Jair Brown to Sean Taylor. They're two different monsters, right? They're two different mindsets at the position. But the fact that you just said that was a Steve Wilks pick, that lets us know that there's something special in Tig, something special, and he's gonna pull it out.
Wilks got nothing of his. He talked he didn't get any of his assistants. He didn't bring over any coaches. You come coach our way with our guys. His one guy he got right there. Yeah, him and Isaiah Oliver. Those two. Those were in Miles Hartsfield. You could throw in there, but that's a back end roster type guy. Well said, Wayne. Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think he is going to start, maybe chipping away at some of Deshaun Gibson's snaps sooner than later. But Gibson did have an interception today.
I was getting ready to say, Steph, not if he keep picking that pass off.
He's no slouch either. So I think this is a unique situation. But I think we're also going to see a lot of times where we see 3 safeties on the field, right? And to the point of, Jair Brown potentially, getting some snaps at nickel, right?
It's called the big nickel package. Just, do you remember Seattle? I know you wouldn't want to talk about Legion of Boom. I know we hate them, right? But do you remember that package with Cam Chancellor? That's the big nickel.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
Yeah, Yep. He could do it. He could do it. And this is a great situation because they have Oliver, and he's also, to what Steve Wilkes said, they thought he's the best nickel in the league. So you have that, and you have the flexibility to move Jair Brown in there too. So things are gonna get crazy. Things get a little crazy, and we're gonna see a lot of different, movement and a lot of different formations. Guys getting moved around. That's what I'm excited for. Yesterday we saw that, Wilkes dialed up 2 different blitzes, I believe. One was for Isaiah Oliver, the other one was for Hufanga. John, were there any blitzes today?
Yeah, there were, and it was with the 3s, which I thought was like, dude, that's wrong, because I was like, that is just not cool. There was a blitzer just come straight off the edge. It was the Sam Backer. It was Jalen Graham. It was Jalen Graham straight off the edge against Brandon Allen, and like, it would have been lights out. It would have been lights out. It was just bad. As soon as he snapped the ball, he opened up this way, and Jalen Graham just came full speed, unblocked off the edge. And I was just like, oh my God, that would have been not nice. So yeah, there's aggressiveness is coming, man. And defense is 100% setting the tone so far through camp, which is normal for the defense. The defense always has the advantage to start things out. And when the pads come on, it's going to be more so. And then the scales start to slowly tip back to the offense. And so that it's just the way camps always go. Any level, Pop Warner, it doesn't matter.
This is exactly how it was last training camp too, and the team ended up being fine. The one thing that I keep saying is I just hope they don't start slow this season. That's it. But maybe that has something to do with camp. I don't know.
And I'll say this. I see Uncle Salty. I see you in there saying no Seahawks talk. I've been waiting for somebody to bring this up because I want to talk about the Seahawks. They're having as bad a start to they've got 6 starters on the pup. Their rookie that they drafted is given the Michael Crabtree holdout rookie. He's the only rookie not signed. Like, you start winning your division, and we want to talk like, start fast, all that. Seahawks started really fast last year, and I know it's camp, but whatever. The Niners, so far, things are going as well as possibly could be with the Brock Purdy news and all that stuff. You look at the quote-unquote division rival, and the Seahawks could not have a worse start to camp. Could not. Things are not going well over there, and that makes me happy. So there, Uncle Salty. Sorry about that.
Don't be so salty. But okay, look, I think we've covered just about anything.
No, we gotta close. We gotta close this show with the kicker, baby.
Kickers,
because John is gonna get smacked in the mother face because he John, you still mad? I know, and I know this is training camp, but he's kicking. Well, John is still pissed that we used the 3rd round pick on this.
That's never going to change, man.
I understand, but John, you have to understand that the 49ers were pretty much stocked, and they had the luxury of drafting what they needed, and they needed.
I took kicker notes for you today, Wayne. I hope you understand that. I got a whole section.
Then I'll take my slap back. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jake Moody was also. He didn't kick yesterday, which was really weird. And they said, oh, we're going to alternate days with kickers. But Zane Gonzalez kicked today is something. I don't know what that was. But every kicker made every single kick today. I got 32-yarder, good for Moody, 37, 43, 52. And he hit them all.
52.
Yeah, 52. So that's which is hard because they will out the field goal post. And it's like on the 20-yard line. So like, the calculations for where they're kicking is like, all right, hold on. But yeah, he was great. And I'll say this, the 40-yard kick that he made is 43 yards, could have been 42, depending on where they put the ball down. It would have been 60 plus, man. I mean, the ball is not getting anywhere close to the uprights. The leg's there. It's there.
I'm going to put out the caveat that I know he hasn't done it on the pro level, but I just want to remind people of being a blue, go blue. This dude has kicked at the Big House, which holds twice as many fans as Levi, and it's the weather conditions are 10 times worse. And he's
dead
kicked.
Taxes and Jake Moody, baby.
There it is. So just be patient. The kid is already doing well in camp. That's the only thing you need to know. I guarantee you he'll come up to do that. As long as our boy Tabor Pepper's getting them snaps back, we Gucci. I can tell you that right now.
This is great news. I keep saying it that for that pick, because it left a really bad taste in all of our mouths for that pick to, I don't know, feel a little better. It needs to be validated.
Mm-hmm. I wish I was more normal like
again.
you guys. Something's wrong with me, Steph. So I was the only one cheering. Like,
you're a Michigan guy, but you were saying you wanted to kick her the whole time, and I was like, no, man. But you also said trade up for safety, and I was like,
fan
no,
was
man.
like over the moon about that pick. They didn't care that it was.
I'm sorry. You guys are normal. I'm abnormal. I get it. It's just it made sense to get him. He was the best. I don't care anybody. He's the best kicker in the draft, and he's going to score the most points for the 49ers if he gets the opportunity.
Interesting.
Kickers usually lead teams in points. So.
Yeah. Well, that we hit our quota for kicker talk. All right. There we go. But look, we're a little over an hour. I've had a blast talking 49ers with you guys today. We might have to do this a little more often because the chat was popping as well. Everyone enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, 49 Carats. John, drop your channel real quick.
Yeah, just type in John Chapman. I'm trying to get it changed to Rosy Cheek 49ers. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, that'll work. Just type in John Chapman wherever. Glad to have you if you're not there anyway. I'm tired, man. It's been a long, great day, and I'm famished. I'm drinking Pedialyte, and I'm starving, Wayne.
Dude, that Pedialyte works on ages 1 to 6.
That's the way it goes, man.
You need to add something to that Pedialyte. Great show, Steph. Thank you so much for having us on.
Wayne, drop your YouTube.
Hey, man, just the Wayne Breezy. It's the Wayne Breezy, the one and only, baby. That's all you need, man. It'll pop right up. But make sure if you're watching on my channel, make sure you subscribe to Steph's channel as well as John's. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was a great show. I got to laugh. I got to curse. I just got to have fun. It's so good when I don't have to ask any topics, questions, and things.
I'm the only one that cussed in the show. That's a first. That's a first.
I censored myself out.
Yeah, you did well. You did well.
I'm learning. I'm progressing like Trey Lance. Had to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys coming on. All you enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. But for now, peace.